And welcome to another episode of Stuck in Mind Podcast. I have an interesting guest. He's a life coach who helps parents deal with preteens. And those of you out there that knows about dealing with preteens, how much of a battle that can be. I'm excited to speak to him. Welcome to the show, Marcus Higgs.
Hey, Will.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well, and you are Will. I'm good. I'm
That's
good.
good. That's good. All right.
Hey.
What what was your inspiration to focus on supporting parents of preteens?
All right. Oh man. So right behind me, I taught fifth and sixth grade for 1 year. A friend had maternity leave. I was a high school teacher, and I taught grade 12. I got taught grade 9, English language arts, and then I taught the fifth graders. And you know what? A question was, how do I address the mental health issue that's happening inside the English speaking world? I was in Thailand at the time at an international school, but our kids were going through it too. These were kids who grew up on English in the AP program and so on. And we are the stories we tell ourselves. And in those formative years, after sitting with this for like a decade and a half, that's how long I've been teaching.
Okay.
I was like, okay, let me. But what could I leverage the most? And here's what you leverage the most: the person who's most influential with them, the person who has them during their transition, because that's when we learn our lessons during our transitions, when things are difficult, and the one who does it at the first transition of life. So that'd be preteens. So I didn't want to deal with teenagers. I mean, I don't mind dealing with teenagers, right? When you understand them, but I wanted to deal with it where you could have the most influence over time, because this whole thing is about trust and establishing trust at an early age on the outside and helping them trust themselves on the inside. So that's why I said, let me work with preteens. And I'm planning to do this for the long haul. Like if I had to be world class at something and dedicate my life to it,
Yeah.
it'd be teaching parents how to work with their kids at this stage.
Okay.
The last thing I'll say on this, Will, thought about this for a long time, right? The last thing is, I'm all about BYOB, bring your own beliefs, bring your own cultures. I respect the wisdom that's with the parent if they work with me. I'm not trying to push any agenda on you. I'm not trying to push anything on you. Like, if you want to help the kids, you support the parents. I
Yeah.
respect the parent in that regard. Yeah.
Okay. So can you explain what you mean by identity breaking years and why they are crucial?
Yeah. I believe what I do is life development, really. And to develop your life, you have to be tested. You have to go through resistance.
Mhm.
And when you go through resistance, that's when the question is really asked, who am I? Life isn't about suffering, life is about growth. But everything that grows must first break.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And we're made stronger in the broken places. It doesn't mean utterly broken or suffering like that. It just means like you got a little bit of wisdom down here, Will. Your salt and pepper, I see.
Yeah. No, hey, listen, man.
Hey, talk
I've
to me.
I've been through a lot in my life, man. It's 31. I was widowed,
Yeah.
and I it was just like one blow after another. It's just like it was just I like a year after I lose my wife, I reunite with my dad after 25 years of not having him in my life, only
Hmm.
to lose him. And then it was just another blow after I buried two brothers, an uncle, and an aunt that really played major roles. So it was just like a 4 or 5 year span where I was just losing people. And I got angry. I was angry at life. I was angry at God, spirit, whatever it is that you
Hmm.
recognize.
Hmm.
And I was like, why me? Am I such a bad person that all this is piling up on me?
Yeah.
And it wasn't that wasn't the case. It was this life. Life hits you with blows, and you just got to know how to deal with them. Like I could have used those as excuses to continue down the path that I was going, and a voice in me said, "No, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. This isn't your path. You're not supposed to be headed down this path. There's more things meant for you to do." And so I got my life back together. I met my wife that I'm with today.
Hmm.
My life around for the past 10 years. I've been at a job that's been steady.
Yeah.
And I discovered my passion for podcasting. I discovered my purpose 4 years ago when the pandemic hit. I was furloughed from work. Didn't
Hmm.
what to do. Discovered podcasting and discovered my purpose. And it was
Hey.
something like, wow. Like because I was 44, didn't know what to do, didn't know what was my purpose in life. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
a paying job. Had a beautiful wife, but I didn't know what my life was supposed to be about. I didn't know what it was going to
Hmm.
be about. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. And when I started doing the podcast, I was like, oh man, this is something different. Like I'm not in media. I wasn't on TV, none of that. I didn't all the stuff that I've learned doing this is me wanting to learn and grow and develop, learn
Hey.
everything about mics, learn about audio, video, all these different things. And it just started, it gave me a purpose because now I have a platform where people come and share their stories. And
Yeah.
when you have those platforms where I get messages from people where like, man, this episode was great. This is impacting me. I've had that. I've had friends, people that I don't
Mhm.
know, reach out to me and say like, "Yo, thank you doing what you're doing."
Yeah.
And when you get those messages, you're like,
Oh
wow.
yeah.
Like you realize that, like this is an impact. Like if I'm touching one person's life, I'm doing something impactful because now it's a ripple effect because like you impact that one person's life, but you don't know how many people they're impacting.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so to be able to discover my purpose so late in life, but was it really though? Was it this? I
Was
guess it
was it
was,
late?
huh?
I'm not. I'm asking. Like, I'm not asking you. This is rhetorical. Person answering the head. Was it
Yeah.
late?
Was it late? Yeah, that's much.
Yeah.
That's the question. Like, was it late, or was it this the time for me to discover it and be aware like this is what I'm supposed to be doing? And so it's been an amazing 4 years to be able to grow the platform, and even last year was one of my best years as far as
Hmm.
podcasting, but it was one of the roughest years for me
All right.
because the one of the most important people to me in the world, my mom, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia,
Mm.
and she just withered in front, like she
Yeah.
just got old in front of me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like it just really, she changed. She went from this beautiful, strong woman that I've known my whole life to just not being there, like just not there. And so she passed away February of this year, and it was like, man, like I've had, to me it was like I couldn't even celebrate my success of the podcast because of everything that was going on.
Yeah.
But I continued to do my show without people knowing what was going on.
Yeah.
Like certain people knew, like people close to me, my friends and family, of course they knew what was going on, but it, her with her situation, not many people knew, and it was just a struggle. But I knew I had to continue to do the podcast because this is where I meant. Well, this is what I was meant to do, man. This is my purpose. This is where I've. This is my therapy, and this is where it allows me to bring other people come share their stories and share their impacts with the world.
Thank you for sharing, man. Thank you for sharing. I'm lead with gratitude right after that. Thank you for sharing. Man, three things. One, there's no greater privilege than to be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And when they hear it, let them know it is a privilege to hear your story. Keeping your stuff together to be in service for other people while on the background, all of it is just behind the curtains. Everything is just a crap show.
Yeah.
I'd say shit show if we curse on here. If we don't, you can bleep that out.
We curse here. We curse
Right.
here.
But keeping your stuff together, while to be of service to people while everything is just falling in the background. Like we're here for other people. I believe this is what life is about, right? We are here for other people because other people were here for us.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we learn that lesson later on in life. And then sometimes how people are showing up for us is not necessarily what we need. But anyways, this human development. This is all human development. And when you look back, like Steve Jobs said, the dots connect themselves. Dots connect themselves, man.
Yeah.
The reason I mentioned the wisdom down here that you said, you do have life experience, and I will respect that. A kid's going through their first transitioning from a child into adolescence or from dependent to independent, and they're thinking the same thing. What's wrong with me? Like, why don't I have this together? The stakes are very low. My mother passed during COVID. Once you have a parent passing, that's like something you pass through that you can't go back.
Yeah.
And you had a series of people close to you.
Mm-hmm.
I've yet to experience something like that, but I've seen it in my parents' generation. My point being, if we teach them these skills of stress management at a young age, that helps prepare them for the other stressful things that will come later on. I can't remember what the question was, but it's. I can't remember what the question was, but the fact, what I'm taking away from this conversation is the
I
same
didn't ask a
skills
question.
you use.
It was you.
Yeah.
It was you talking
Yeah, I was
about
talking about you. Great. Yeah.
But no,
But my point being, the same skills you use to get through what you got through, it's the same skills at this level, but at lower stakes. And if I can give you a metaphor, I remember I had a friend who doesn't have to worry about money, let's say. And this kid was willy-nilly with like $2 or $3. And one of our friends asked him, said, "Man, just give it to him. Like, that means nothing to you." He's like, "I got to teach him how to manage this when it's small in dollars, so that later on when he's managing big money, he knows the value of something." The point I'm making is when we learn how to manage stress down here, when we have bigger stresses happening, we'll take those skills. We could say, "Oh yeah, I've been here before. Like I can expand into this. I can be stress progressive."
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I got a question for you now. How did your multicultural upbringing influence your approach to parenting?
So there's this concept called third culture kid. It's where you grow up with an identity that is not necessarily your passport or your country's identity. So I was born in California. My mom's from the Philippines. My dad is from the Bahamas. I grew up sometime in the Bahamas. I am Bahamian. I taught abroad, Korea, Spain, Thailand, and Saudi Arabia, and so on. To your question, I had to be a chameleon at times. I had to get in where you fit in. We used to do the traditional Filipino things. I am Pinoy. I'm Filipino. Like, I couldn't deny that. But then, you go to the events and you got the afro, you don't got the straight hair. You got the darker skin. I love Filipinos. They're always willing and accepting of but you always look different. And for my mixed friends or mixed parents, as I talk to them, that either makes you or breaks you. Either kids don't know who they are, or kids are just like, I got to double down into me. Third culture kids, they're usually very comfortable in their skin, comfortable who they are and what they do, because you grow up different, right? How did it affect me? I had to double down on who I am, and I think that's why my spiritual life, it was never a burden for me because I felt seen, I felt safe, and I felt secure with the divine. I had a sincere prayer life, and I didn't live a judgmental life of looking down on other people, but I knew that I grew up in a culture and community that was connected. It wasn't. I didn't grow up in a cult. I just grew up in a place where I had aunties and uncles around me, like family, like that.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know. It helped me know who I was and double down on that. That's what Dolly Parton said. Life is about figuring out who you are and then doing that on purpose. So yeah,
Okay. So what are the key components of the show up framework?
sure. So that's the signature program that I work with parents. It's 3 months long, and it helps them show up as the framework says and be present with their kid as they're going through this transition. And it helps them be an exemplar or an example in keeping their stuff together while their kid is being dysregulated or having their show. And what they are is it starts with a strong identity. That's a big part of my work. Who are you? And you get to define that. I am fill in the blanks because blah blah blah. We're looking at virtues and values. I believe virtues and values are with everybody. That's why I hold dignity for everybody whenever I talk to them. Life is life, and we're all having a human experience. So figure out what your identity is. Not figure out, but I mean, I'll help you walk you through that because you're going to help your child walk through it because that's what they're doing. Everything that I'm doing with the parents, they will then in turn do with the kid. So starts with a strong identity. H is hold space for critical thinking and collaboration. Like I said, life is about stress management. We have problems. We learn to communicate, collaborate, and critically think with others. Instead of saying what's wrong with me, we say what's wrong, and then we
Yeah.
learn people who we find people who can help us who can support us in the way that we need.
Okay.
The O is opening up communication. The level of the ability to communicate is directly related to your ability to live life. How do you talk with yourself? How do you talk with others? How do you handle misunderstandings? So opening up communication. Oftentimes preteens are closing at this time in their life. And the W is wonder and explore this world together. We speak about being resilient, right? Resilient is when stress is enacted upon it. Then there's robustness. It means when you can take it. But then how do you expand back out into that? Like there's
Okay.
something that I want, my desires are worthy to go after. So how do I expand into that? And the UP is unveil your potential. That means celebrate. We don't celebrate enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of my thing was I didn't get to celebrate the accomplishments of my podcast, even though I knew it was doing great, and but now after all is said and done, and I've really been able to really enjoy where I'm at with my podcast, and just where I'm at in life. Period. Like just being able to just take it one day at a time, and but at the same time continue to just continue to do me, continue to do the podcast, and
Count your blessings.
yeah, and just be able to, because I like
Talk to me.
it was a year of her suffering. Well, it was a couple of years of her suffering, but last year was just a real major year of her not being able to go to the bathroom by herself, not being able to
Speaking
go.
about your mom.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Talk to
yeah.
me. Yeah.
So it was those struggles going through that, and you as an adult, you remember when your mom used to have to do those things for you, and now it was reversed. Like we have to carry her to the bathroom, we have to change her in bed, and it was just it was definitely not easy, and I can imagine how it would just people's in life period, how when you're dealing with kids and teenagers, how sometimes it can be difficult. It can be difficult when parents and kids aren't aligned, and so my question for you is,
Yeah.
how can parents start building a strong identity for their teens?
Mm. I hear you say build a strong identity for their teens. I'm gonna reword that a little bit.
Hmm.
And the etymology, though the word parent means to bring forth, same as educate actually. Um, educere means to bring forth out of. And I don't think that we put character into somebody. Character is actually it's brought forth. Now, the way we do that, as an educator, as a teacher, we create the context for learning to take place. And I want that kid to express themselves and feel comfortable expressing themselves. And when I say feel comfortable expressing themselves, they're going to go through their emotional ups and downs. They're going to go through all emotionals are accepted, not all behavior. Um, and I'm going to help you understand what this world is by talking to you about how you're responding to it on the inside, your feelings about it, your emotions, and all that. Yeah. And that's going to actually inform what kind of person you are. People move towards your expectations. So when we hold high expectations, when I say hold high expectations, I expect you to be a dope kid. And that doesn't mean like you got to be better than everyone else. It just means you got to be you, because that's the only thing you can do the better than everybody else.
Yeah.
You, right? And in you
Yeah.
being you, I'm gonna notice two things. Like I said, your virtues, and virtues mean the work you do for the well-being of others, and also the work you do for the well-being of yourself. You got to look out for yourself. And these virtues are actually they're in all cultures, all faiths. It's scientific. 24 character. It's called virtues in action, VIA. If you want to look it up, things like creativity, leadership, fairness. Um, so I'm looking for your virtues, and then I'm also looking for your values. What's important to you? It might be sports, it might be finances, it might be your family. What's important to you? And when you combine your virtues and your values, that's uniquely you. And I'm gonna bring your awareness and attention to your uniqueness and showing you how you show up in the world through your bumps and through your bruises. And while I'm having that conversation with you, again, the voice of which you speak to children is the voice with which they speak to themselves.
Mhm.
You're gonna take that voice on with you later on. Um, and it's gonna be your voice, not mine. You're eventually gonna own it. So that's why I say I don't think we build on it. Or like I'm not trying to force my values on you. I'm just trying to see how you're dope and bring it forth.
It's not like, okay, like my mom did not force her values on me, but I saw the kind of person she was. Like her doors was open to everyone. Everyone got fed that came to my house. There was
Yeah.
no one who didn't get, like, she fed anyone who walked through her doors. And if you needed somewhere to crash because you didn't have somewhere to sleep at, her sofa was there.
Yeah.
And that was just the kind of person she was. She treated people the way she wanted. I've never seen my mom disrespect anyone. Like, but
Mhm.
at the same time, I never saw anyone really disrespect her either, because the way she handled herself, and she was always the kind of person that was she presented herself the way she was. There was nothing
She's
funny about
authentic.
her. Yeah, she was just she was her. She was authentically herself. She didn't care. So that is something that I've been able to get from her. Like when I was reading the question, it was more towards, like, I got to really experience firsthand what it is to be with someone that was authentically themselves.
Yeah.
To really see someone firsthand be them and not try to conform to someone else's vision of themselves.
Yeah. You know what? Like, uh, okay. First of all, I love that about your mom. Thank you for sharing that. Like, you can't be what you can't see, and she was that example. So you didn't have to go looking far. You know, in a world where people are looking for heroes, she found you, and that's worth noting. And I'm also of the opinion the universe has sent us nothing but angels.
Mhm.
And what lessons can we learn from those who fall short of those expectations? Like even your father bouncing and as you said, for 25 years, not being there. Um, like what I'm not asking you to answer, but it's he taught you a lesson in that also. Or he taught you what you had to deal with after the fact. And I think life is about processing all of that. All
He,
of that.
he taught me how to forgive.
Hey,
Being able to forgive him not being a part of my life, it made it easier for me to forgive other people.
yeah,
So being able to forgive is one thing that, yes, I was able to learn from him because it was like, okay, you weren't a part of my life. I'm not gonna. Not, I was angry for many years, but here's a clean slate. Let's work it out from now. Like whatever happened in the past happens in the past. We're not. It's not something that's going to continue to like.
very.
Yeah, it's not going to continue to like be. It's not going to be an issue. Is so to be able to have that conversation, and even though I lost him the very next day, it was still it was still a great experience because I got to have a conversation with him and really just talk about whatever whatever what was happening, and then at the same time also got to meet my little brother that I hadn't met before. So I got found a new part of me in my little brother, and got to meet him and see the kind of man he was, and hear the stories of how when his relationship with my dad and everything. So it was just a part where you just like, okay, like you you got to experience these things with him that I didn't, and I'm glad that just that I got to hear his stories and see what kind of person he was, and it 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 helped a lot. It helped a lot
Yeah,
with a lot of things. Just being able, like I said, it showed me forgiveness. It really did show me how to really forgive and
yeah,
move on, and not have that be a part of why I was struggling or whatever it was, or any of the issues that you might have from not having your father in your life.
yeah. You owned your story, and the beautiful thing about owning your story is when you get to give it meaning.
Hmm.
Like you get to choose to be bitter or to be better, and that's what it was. Life happened, and you gave it meaning.
Yeah,
It's possible. Yeah.
definitely. All right. How can parents effectively open up communication with their preteens?
Boom. Um, in the show up framework, there are many different approaches in the open up communication. I'm actually going through a series right now on LinkedIn for the next 2 weeks of different conversations taken from the book 14 Conversations I Had Before 14. And the high level way in which you can open up communication, um, having brief conversations, And there's a acronym BRIFE, but it's you begin with peace because kids are sensitive at this time.
Mhm.
And actually, that's a good thing that they're sensitive. They're trying to suss out the world and figure it out. So they're tuned in like that. Um, make it relevant. You're related to them because you're setting the context. There's no meaning without context. So the parent is setting the context. BRI. Then you start to interrogate with questions, but again, non-judgmental questions. You're getting their opinion. This is what active listening is. Then you echo. You say back to them what you've heard to make sure they feel heard. Not even feel heard, but rather, yeah, this is what you're saying, and I'm acknowledging what you're saying. And then F is giving feedback, your opinion on it. So when you have this framework of brief, we're then looking at how to talk about sexuality, how to talk about money, how to talk about changing friends, how to talk about the things that are happening to them. Knowing the framework is one way, and getting reps in how to do that, having shorter conversations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two is the long play is being a source of trust. And what I mean by that is, again, I work with the parents to help them keep their stuff together.
Mhm.
To be a source of trust means they know what to expect about you when they come back to you, and when you do have your breaks, when you do have your riffs,
Yeah.
and you're not a source of threat, empty threats or exaggerated threats. They know that you're not safety and you're danger. They know that you're a safe base to come back to.
Okay. It, so is it? Uh, do you have things that they can do together to really work on that and on work on that building that type of relationship where they're able to communicate better?
Yeah, yeah. That's what the whole show up framework is about. I'm a communications coach. Um, so first of all, like I said, people move towards your expectations. If you hold in a good identity of them, one, two, you're there as a collaborator and you're helping them through stuff. Um, then you're working on projects and opening up communication. Yeah, there is the whole framework is about building that trust. That's what the whole framework is.
Mm. How
You
can
good?
parents
Hey, Will, you good, man? You good?
huh?
It's all right. I said you good, man. You good? It's all right.
No,
We started this podcast off and said it's a long day.
it's just it's yeah, it's been a long and
Talk to me.
recently nah, so recently I've been struck. I was just diagnosed with diabetes. Um,
All right.
I suffer from sleep apnea,
Yeah.
so I had a
Sorry to
study done in June, and I got the results back.
All
And
right.
88 times in an hour, I stopped breathing. Right, so
Yeah.
lately, because I haven't had my CPAP machine
Did you get
for
your
a few
seat back? Yeah.
months for a few months now, so I'm drained. I'm like completely drained. I'm tired all day, every day, struggling to stay awake sometimes.
Yeah.
And people are like, if people don't know people don't know what you're going through, they're saying they're looking at you like you're lazy or you don't. They don't understand that
I didn't get no
my
sleep. I
head
didn't get any
my
sleep.
my head is in the clouds. I don't get enough oxygen to my brains. So there's moments where I'm in the clouds and it's a struggle. But
Yeah.
I yet continue. I come on and I do my show 3 days a week and I do other things. And I'm just and so but recently things have been falling into place. I get a new machine Friday.
There
Hopefully,
you go.
hopefully it arrives here and that start seeing a nutritionist and start working on losing the weight and everything. But it's been a struggle, man. It's been a struggle to really with everything that's going on, especially with everything that's going on, especially with my mom in the past year and all this. But I just continue to go.
Yeah.
I just
Progress.
continue to keep doing, moving forward, and and I don't know anything any other way how to do it. I just got to keep going. I just don't stop.
Hey man, like I started this conversation saying it's okay, it's good.
Yeah.
I wanted to recognize it because I mean, and let you know, like I said, let people hold dignity, help them tell this, not help them, give them space to tell their story. That's one. Something, something you can't get caught up in the opinions of others, but like when they don't know the story in the background, like you got to be sure about, no, I know what this is. And I'm not coming from a place of victimism. I know, like
No, yeah,
I got fog. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's I know what's wrong,
Yeah.
and not everyone knows, but
And
people
when they
who
don't know.
don't, but people who don't know, there are people who know. Like again, those close to me know what I'm struggling with, know what
Yeah.
I'm going through with, because I don't come out here and I don't use it as a crutch. I don't
Yeah.
come here and I don't be like, oh, woe is me, or woe is me, because that's not gonna get me anywhere. That me personally, I don't feel like that's the right message to send. My
Yeah.
message
You're
is
right.
send, like, regardless of what you go through in life, pick yourself up. Listen, that regardless of what you go through, there's strength in you somehow, some way to pick yourself up and continue to battle and to fight. And
Yeah.
that's all I do is and that's what I want people to see, that like regardless of what's happening in your life and what obstacles are thrown in your life and what you have to deal with, like just there's no excuse. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
I own everything that happens to me. Like I accept a lot of it was my fault. Like some of it, like there was things I could control to help me lose the weight. Just didn't do it. Um, Not having a CPAP machine is difficult because now I can't prescribe myself a machine. I had to go through the
Mhm.
medical doctors. So
Yeah.
it took a while for me to get my study done, and now that it's finally got done, now things are going now falling into place where all right, I'm gonna hopefully get back to somewhat of normal state of mind.
Get some normalcy. Yeah. Back in
Yeah.
your life.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
People don't. It's crazy. It's a struggle. It is a
You
struggle
all good.
to be able to not and even when I got the results from this last study, and the doctor was like, "You go from 90% oxygen down to 70% oxygen levels in your body." He's like, that's no good. He says you're a candidate for a heart attack in your sleep. And every morning, no, I kid you not, I
Mm.
wake up with
Chest pains or so?
no, not chest pain. Nothing is more with a headache, because I'm not receiving enough oxygen to my brain. It's just not.
Mm.
It's not enough oxygen. It's just not. And again, it takes hours for the clouds to clear up after I wake up, and
Yeah.
and it's difficult because I know that's not normally how I am.
Mm.
It just isn't. It's just but again, I'm not using it as a crutch. I
Mm.
share it
All
now. I share it now because I want people to know, like, there's things you can do about it. There's help you can go out there and find, and don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till you can't do anything about it. And so for me, it's being able to share it and be
hey,
open about it and let people know, like, you might see that I might be a little tired, and this is why. It's
yeah.
not because I'm whatever. These are the reason why
You,
things might look
you know what we
different.
say? We say all growth starts with telling the truth.
Yeah,
Like you can have a map, you can have a GPS, you can know where you're going, but if you don't know where you're starting, you can't get anywhere. So you got to start with the truth first. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jen,
Thank you for sharing,
actually,
man.
is actually making this a pretty good episode.
I mean, whenever you engage with me, it's about growth.
Yeah,
It's because that's like I told you, I talk about life, and what life
yeah.
is where are you, where are you trying to go, and what is stopping you on the inside or outside from getting there, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really stopping. Like let's just figure out the next step.
And a lot of stuff, yeah, like a lot of stuff that you're discussing with, it is life, it is growth, it is things. You just help parents deal with it with their teenagers, but it's life. It's basic steps in life. It's basic things in life that if other people were to apply it, it would be like, wow, I didn't know.
It's what's relevant to them.
Yeah.
It's what's relevant. I believe the universe is constantly expanding. Is it
Mm-hmm.
being pulled from the edges or is it being pushed up from the middle? The answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you figure out what the levers are for expansion, you just find what's relevant.
Awesome. Do you have a book?
I got a book, not in, well, I'm writing a book to show up framework for
Okay.
my work that I do
It
coaching.
looked like you like in one of your pictures. It looked like you was signing an autograph for a book or something.
Yeah, no, I wrote another book of poetry for myself.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, a lot of my ideas and thoughts are inside that book, but not about the show up framework. That book I did write for my students too. So
How did that experience change you?
writing the book,
Yeah.
you know what? So writing is organized thinking,
Mm-hmm.
just like this is just processing our thoughts.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something you said at the beginning of the interview
Yeah.
about having podcast guests and so on.
Yeah.
When we had community, we would share our ideas, like our troubles and our stresses and our triumphs. We'd share it with the elders, we'd share it with our peers, and we'd share it with the next generation. And every time we'd share it, we get a different perspective. And that's how we process our stress in community. That's the same thing podcasts are. That's what coaching is. That's what writing is for me. That's what speaking with someone, that's what prayer is for some people. It's processing your thoughts with another person so you're seen, safe, secure, and soothed. Writing my book of poetry, like I've been writing my whole life. I just put some together around a personal topic, and it felt good. I read it when I need to, because I remember where I was when I wrote it, and I'm looking forward to reading it when I have my other achievements. Because I'll be like, look, I told you, I put it down in paper. Everything I wrote has come true, and I'm looking forward to other stuff that I've written come true inside that book. Yeah.
Definitely. That's something that and I asked because we self-published my nephew's book
All right, that's what's up.
a couple of years ago. And it was a great honor to be able to help him get that accomplished, because it was a part of him that needed to get out there. He served almost 10 years in prison, turned his life around. He now has his own maintenance company, property maintenance company, and he still struggles from just life struggles, things that get thrown in his way, but he continues to just move on and know he's to see where he's come from running in the streets and hustling and selling drugs to where he's at now, where he's a great dad. He's a hard worker, building a business, and like I'm proud of where he's at as a man, and I continue to support him. and he's been one of the main reasons I've been able to do what I'm doing with my. He's one of the reasons I launched the podcast. Is he was doing YouTube and stuff like that. And when I saw him doing it, I was like, okay, my nephews do this. I think I could do
Do
this.
this
And
too.
yeah, and so and he's been one of the reasons I've been able to I was like, you know what, I want to launch a radio station. And we did. We launched Real Wise Radio. We had to shut it down because of funding. And this year I was able to relaunch it again. I'm still working on building the website and everything, but I have it streaming now. It's streaming because I was able to find a platform where I paid one flat fee for it, and now I don't. It's a lifetime licensing. So now I'm able to have my radio station, and here's another platform for me to give other podcasters and other people wanting an opportunity to do radio, to do internet radio. And I'm like, here we go. This is why I built this, is for other people to have that platform where they can put their shows on, and if they want to come DJ, just here we go, let's do this. And so it just was inspiring. It's just to have someone, whenever I throw out an idea, he's like, all right, let's do this.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. Like,
Operator puts it into action.
So it's great to have that person behind you, like who's down for whatever.
Yeah. And to your point before, they say it's not the book that you read that changes your life, it's the book that you write. Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps you organize your thoughts. What's up?
So what advice do you have for parents struggling to connect with their kids, with their teens?
I don't give people advice unless they ask me. Since you asked me, like, I'll let that parent ask me what advice that I have. I'll tell you like this. It's from positive psychology. It's not personal. It's not permanent. And we also say it's not pervasive. It's not in all things. This kid's going through something. There is life supports those who support life. So there is support for you out there. Other than that, it's also a skills thing. Parenting is a skills thing. So you can skill up. That's the work that I do. Like if you don't seek me out, seek somebody out. Because if you care, let me not say it like that. If you're asking that question, that means you do care. And because I know you care, know that there's support out there to help you. Find your tribe, find those around you. And it takes a community to support a parent in doing this work. Yeah.
And that's something that's we really haven't been able to touch on is the lack of community. When I grew up, it was all about community. Like, well, even I was born in one of the roughest parts of Brooklyn, East New York, and yet I couldn't do anything on my block without someone contacting my mom and letting her know, oh, your boy is doing this. And my mom was like, oh yeah, really? Thank you for letting me know. And that's how we were raised. We were raised where the neighbors had like my mom, like some neighbors had
neighborhood watch.
They had the option of knocking me upside the head if they saw me doing something that I wasn't supposed to do. There was nothing about, oh, you being smack him. If you see him doing something wrong, smack him upside the head. My mom, it was no issues like that. And we've gotten away from that. That's something that now you go to certain communities, neighbors don't even communicate, and neighbors don't look out for each other. And that's something me and my nephew, we talk about. One of our sayings is, we are the village. We want to get back to that, where we develop a community of people who look out for each other. who take care of each other, because it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes a village to raise a village even.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's the challenge of this era, this century. Community is what we're lacking. When we get back to community, um, we'll get back to a lot of things. Yeah. Did you grow up Caribbean New Yorkian?
Yeah. Yeah.
But what part of the Caribbean?
Oh, it's Puerto Rican, but it's
Puerto
all the
Rican, New
same.
Yorican. Yeah.
It's
All
all
right.
the same. Like, so you like you're Filipino and from
Yeah.
Bahamian, right?
No,
But
I got enough Puerto Rican friends. Don't mind me in Orlando and so on.
but the thing is, we're all so alike because we're all family based. It's always been about, even for the Philip. I know I have a lot of Filipino friends. Family is important to them.
Yeah.
Like family, keeping family together is very important. Same thing with my Bahamian friends. Family is important, and that's what a lot of the Caribbean, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, family is important, and that's something they've ripped from us. Is keeping families together and keeping families united and keeping and communities together. And that's like we said, this is something we need to get back. This is something we need to build back because it's important.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
But it's been a great show. Thank you for being such a wonderful guest. But now you get the solo screen, and you get to plug away and let people know where they can find you, websites, everything.
Hey, so again, I'm Marcus Aurelius Higgs, communication coach for parents of preteens. You can find me on my name, marcushiggs.com. I'm usually over at LinkedIn. That's where I am on the social networks. And I have some workshops coming up. You'll see my work. You get to know me a little bit more. And then if you want to take the course, the flagship course, it's the Show Up Framework, helping you to show up for your preteen during these formative years.
That's it.
He said, "That's it. That's it. I gotta make it simple, man. Like you'll find me where you find me, and then you get to know more about me." Yeah,
I know that. But thank you, man, for being such a wonderful guest. For having a great conversation. Period with me, man. This was dope, man. I appreciate it.
Yo, Will. Yeah. I try to leave a space better than how I met it, and it was a pleasure to meet you. For real, like I said, when they hear it, let them know it is a privilege to hear your story.
I try, man. I try to share it when I can. But
Hey.
thank you for doing what you're doing, man, and being a beacon of light for many, man. Like, continue to do what you're doing, continue to shine, and I definitely gonna have you back on sometime in the future. Maybe after you write another couple of books and you come on and promote them and stuff, man.
All right. I'll hold you to it.
Oh,
We got
listen,
it. We got to record it.
we definitely gonna have I've had return guests, man. I love
For
people
sure.
to
For
come
sure.
back and share their stories, especially, like I said, I've been doing it for 4 years now, so I've had a couple of people come back. But thank you, man. Appreciate you. And but don't leave just yet. Let me chat with you a little bit off the air. Let me close out the show. But I once again thank you for being such a great guest.
Pleasure's all mine, man.
All right, now another great show is in the books. Had a great time. Thank you for Corrado for leaving the comments. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being a day one listener and follower and supporting me. As always, shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Shout out to the boss lady. Love you and appreciate you. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless you. Be safe. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Get the notification bells. Tap on that. I still got to get one of those graphics where that pops up, man. And you know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.